Okay, so this should be working now. Hey guys, welcome to another. I'm not really gonna call these episodes, just things I want to get off my chest and things that I learned. And today I learned something pretty big. Today I learned something humongous. I learned, let me just tell you the story. So, um, as you guys know, I got my son back, and he lives with me. And um, one of the things that he did before was he would just sneak downstairs to grab food. Excuse my hair, it's just I was cleaning today, believe it or not. Um, so yeah, he would sneak downstairs to get food, and he would also lie about it. And I've talked to him before, hey buddy, don't lie. That's one thing we obviously don't accept in this house or in society as a whole, but like mainly in this house. And stealing is like lying, so we don't do that either. So every night, we do try to make sure he has enough food. And believe it or not, like last night we even had pizza, pepperoni, his favorite, and like he's like, okay, I'm full after I think it was like maybe two slices. I'm like, all right, and then he was working on his third. He's like, okay, I'm full. I'm like, all right, how about this? Eat a couple more bites, I'll eat the rest of it, but just eat a little bit more because like he's so skinny, he really is, and I don't want to blow him up, but I do want him to feel full. I don't want him to feel hungry when he goes to bed. So when so we do make sure that he gets his fill, so that later on he's not like oh, I'm starving at like 10 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. um and it even goes to the point where like I ask him before he goes to bed, like, yeah, do you want anything to eat? Usually says no. Mostly he does like drinks, but like regardless of like there is a routine that we do follow. um I'm like, hey, you're gonna try to stay in your bed all night tonight, and like I feel that we are having this kind of conversation. Um, so like he's like, yeah, I think I could do that. This morning he woke up and I found a wrapper, but at the same time I wasn't sure it was something that was there previously. Like he had a snack while he was doing his homework. I probably didn't notice it last night. I'm like, hey, did you sneak out of your room last night? Like, no, Dad, I didn't do it. I'm like, all right. Did you go get a snack in the middle of the night? No, Dad, no. I was good. I was like, all right, cool. So we did the morning routine, brush our teeth, use the bathroom, dress up, the whole thing, and we get him on the bus. He didn't want cereal, which kind of threw me off, but like he wanted like these little gummy treats. I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe he's just in the mood for that. Um, do we get the kids on the bus, and me and Donna go off to go do laundry, grocery shopping. Um, and while we're grocery shopping, picking out food, she was like, she was telling me about like, oh yeah, she had this dream last night, and then and she had this dream last night, and then she told me that when she went to go use the bathroom, she saw Xavier up, and I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, he was he was coming up from downstairs. I'm like, you didn't tell me that. She's like, I didn't think I needed to. And I'm like, if that was Bella, if that was our daughter, then you'd want me to tell you. She's like, yeah, yeah. And like, I was more, I was growing in anger in the idea that my son lied to me this morning about sneaking down, getting food. And not only that, this morning when I asked him, like, did you ask Donna if you can have a snack? She said, no. He was like, no, I wasn't hungry. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, so he lied about sneaking down. He lied about asking Donna for food. I'm like, if he was doing so well, is he backsliding so quickly? Like, look, the rest of the week he was good. He didn't sneak out. He didn't. He didn't try to get any snacks. If he was hungry before bed, he'd be like, yeah, can I have X, Y, Z, like an apple, or can I have something before bed? And like we were doing really good with it. And all of a sudden it was like boom, out of nowhere. And I was trying to control my emotions in that. I was very, very angry and disappointed. Um, Now the thing you gotta know about Donna is that she's an empath, which is somebody that feels other people's emotions. And with me, sadly enough, whenever I am in that mode of me, she feels my emotions, not just because of proxy, but because I feel it so intently. Especially if it's something that like I am used to. And like anger is one of those emotions that I have worked very hard over the years to control because of events that has happened. So I wasn't furious. I wasn't grabbing things from like the counter and slamming it into the cart. I wasn't talking disrespectfully loud or anything else like that. I was trying to figure out in my head how I needed to approach the situation better. Um, but the more I thought about it, the more it angered me, and I'm not the kind of person to kind of shelf it to try to come back to it later. It doesn't work. But I know that sometimes the way that I feel things is so strong to Donna that the way that I feel things will make her sick. And I don't usually notice it and realize it until it's kind of too late. And she's like, okay, we're like we went around the the grocery store, and we kind of came full circle. She's like, all right, I'm done. I'm like, you're done? That's like our cart's not usually overflowing like it usually does. And she's like, and once again, I'm seeing my wolfiness. Excuse that. um, like I said, cleaning today, not much time for anything else because like anyway, um, drive home, quiet, silence, no conversating. I apologize because I realized that maybe my emotions, like when we were checking out, maybe my emotions were what was making her feel like, okay, we're done shopping. Um, so we're driving home, complete silence. We put the food away, like deep for for us, complete silence. And towards the end of it, we ended up talking. And I couldn't even tell you who started the conversation first, but we ended up talking, and about like, okay, how should I discipline him? Why am I disappointed? And everything else, and I'm like, and we get back to the idea of, okay, yeah, he snuck out when, like, she's like, oh, we should change the food, where we should put the food and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, since he snuck, like she's like, we should probably put it in our bedroom. I'm like, no, he came into our bedroom while we were sleeping. Since he was doing that last night while I was sleeping, and you woke up to go use the bathroom. She's like, oh no, that's not when that happened. I'm like, what's up? And she's like, yeah, he when you were streaming last night. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking it's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. She's like, no, it's like probably like 9:30, like 10:30 at the latest. I'm like, oh well, shoot. That was not late for me. Like considering like we usually have a bedtime for both of them because Donna's daughter usually goes to bed at a particular time. So I'm like, okay, well I kind of want them to go to bed around the same time, but I can't expect Bella to change her schedule. So kind of like kind of match it up. So it's around 10:30 that they tend to usually go to bed. Then like my son has told me that like, oh yeah, sometimes he'll just wake up at 10:30 before. So I'm like, all right, cool. That kind of lines up to what he has told me whenever he goes to bed earlier than that. That like, oh, well, he'll just wake up again at 10. I'm like, okay, so you go to sleep from like 10 to like 7. That should be good. Um, so for him to be like, oh yeah, he was up around 10:30. I'm like, that's around the time I put him to bed. So like, it wasn't like it wasn't as detrimental in reality as it was in my mind. In my mind, he woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning when Donna had to go when Donna had to wake up to use the bathroom, and he was just coming up the stairs like it was a normal thing. And I'm like, the disrespect of him just coming up the steps and then lying about like and then my mind created that. So if that didn't happen, if he never came up the steps at a time that I thought, then like he didn't lie about getting snacks, he didn't lie about being awake, and me being angry for the past couple hours meant was unwarranted. Me thinking about like oh, this is how I'm going to discipline him was unwarranted, and I'm like, I feel like a horrible person because I am trying not to ask so many questions, only because according to everybody else, I do ask a lot. It's almost like an interrogation, some people say, because I am always trying to find every piece of information. Because even not knowing a small little piece, like the time, because from her point of view, that is last night that happened, I think last night is past midnight because that's usually whenever like I turn in. Whereas her past midnight is whenever it gets dark. So I'm like, oh, okay, that should have been a question I asked. That should have been something that I thought to myself that I should have definitely have a question. Like, okay, what time was it? But I'm trying to ask less questions. That definitely was. I feel to me that was definitely my fault. I should have asked better questions rather than less questions. Um, but I also felt horrible. Like I was ready to discipline him when he came home, which he's coming home in a couple minutes here, on something that like he wasn't even part of. Like he been doing good, and this is a lesson for me to do better. I slipped up, and because I slipped up, I was really about to put him in a place that he didn't deserve to be in. Um, I am learning, and this is a learning process. And the thing is that it's not like, oh, I'm learning something and it's kind of like, oh, if I make a mistake, it's whatever. Like this could have potentially have been detrimental. He would have been like, my dad doesn't trust me. What, and that kind of foundation is not good at all, and that's not something that I ever want to do. Um, and because of that miscommunication, it really could have been a rough weekend. um, I'm learning now to try to ask better questions. One, not of just Donna, but also of my son. Like, okay, how should I word this so that I don't ask that many questions? So I am learning that process, and I am glad I had this learning experience, and I'm glad I was able to share it. And I hear him come to the door. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will be better. I'm still dad, and I'm gonna do a better job at being dad. That is my mission in life. So I'll see you guys later. I'll fix up this hair, and I'm way overdue for haircuts. You guys take care. Later.